So, should the United States be a Christian nation? That's the question that Stephen Wolfe brings up in his 2022 book, The Case for Christian Nationalism. Now, he would argue in the affirmative. And one of the things that he points out in this book is his belief that his argument is going to follow from his presumptions or his assumptions that he starts out with. So he says it's airtight logic. And that's not exactly the case. And there are a few areas that I've found problematic in this book, but I want to bring up one today. So on page 16 and 17, he comes out, and I appreciate that he does this, but he is very adamant that he says that this is a book of reformed political theory. And by saying reformed political theory, he's arguing that he's coming from a Calvinist viewpoint. All right. And then he kind of undermines that on page 28 when he argues for cultural Christianity. And I'm looking down because I'm going to read this. So, cultural Christianity is not true Christianity, it is just a veneer of Christianity over the culture, I guess. But here's what he says about cultural Christianity. My argument is that cultural Christianity, as the normalization of Christianity in civil society, sets social conditions that aid in the reception of the gospel and people coming to faith. It is akin to the Christian norms of the Christian family, which requires certain practices and forbids others in the interest of spiritual formation. So, to recap that, it sets social conditions that aid in the reception of the gospel and people coming to faith. That seems sort of in opposition to Calvinism, because if you look at the TULIP acronym for Calvinism, the U and the I, unconditional election and irresistible grace. So God has, in the view of Reformed people, basically predestined certain people to salvation, and he will irresistibly draw them. That seems that would be irrespective of whether or not you have a Christian society built up. Because God has elected them, he will then draw them. So the question is, how does that jive with a truly Calvinistic view of things? If you look at some of the more famous events from mission history in the Calvinistic world, one thing that comes up, or one point that comes up, is the historical account, which may or may not have happened exactly like this. It is debated. But the English Baptist William Carey wanted to bring the gospel to India. And one of the Calvinist elder ministers in his little association reportedly told him, "Young man, sit down. You are an enthusiast. If God desires to convert the heathen, he will do so without your help or mine." That's basically a paraphrase of what this minister told William Carey. But it sort of indicates the truly Calvinistic view that if you take it to its logical extreme, you don't have to have a Christian nation set up to aid in the reception of the gospel, because those who have been ordained to eternal life will accept it regardless of what anybody can do or will do, because it is all a work of God. So this tends to undermine his argument that he's coming from a reformed theological viewpoint, at least from the historic understanding of what Calvinism would teach. If you want to know more about Calvinism, if you want me to go through the TULIP acronym in a little more depth, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I might just create a video on that. Thanks for watching.